cause when it got hard, them niggas quit it.
So much hustle, dog. It's all about that muscle, dog, yeah. Trying to make it out the struggle, dog, yeah. Hey, watch out this bubble, dog, yeah.
Look, shit, I chase hit to make some real shit. Something that they feel shit. Cause all I know is speaking on some shit I really deal with. Like how I and in the morning didn't feel shit. Was tired of being single, so I went and got a real. Like how my homies quit and left this rap. So now I'm grinding dolo in they absence, nook. But I'm still sticking to the plan, cause I mapped it, nook. And I don't care about going slow, just not backwards.
I put in so much hustle, dog. It's all about that muscle, dog, yeah. Trying to make it out the struggle, dog, yeah. Hey, watch out this bubble, dog, yeah.
Look, Nick don't really want it that bad, I see it clearly now. But me, I really want it that bad, my grind is eerie now. First I write the songs, mix the songs and shoot the videos. On my iPhone, shit is serious, you hear me though? I ain't got no label backing me, it's just me and my girl. So when I blow up, I'ma give it a whirl. Cause I'm overly focused and overly thorough. When it's all said and done, they're gonna build me a mural.
Alright, okay, so basically I wanted to make a definitive video that expresses why you should be using your iPhone. I'm not going to go into major tech specs and things like that are just going to blow your mind. Now, because this is a question that I get very, very regularly, and it's, what is the cheapest camera I can buy to start in photography? I will give people the option, obviously, get this £450 camera. It's an amazing starting point. You won't be upset with the images that you get with it. And I completely understand that a £450 camera isn't in everyone's budget. Not everybody has the money to shell out for that camera, and not everybody really wants to. I've had people come back to me and say, oh, I've seen this one that's £150 on Amazon. It comes with a million accessories. What do you think? Honestly, you're wasting your money. My opinion is on this is that if you go and spend £150 on this camera that comes with all these accessories that you don't know about, you're going to be disappointed. The camera's not going to be any good. You're going to have a bunch of plasticky accessories. You're going to be pissed off that you spent £150 on something that now just collects dust. Now, if you knew how to utilize your phone's camera, you would get a much better image, and then you wouldn't have to pay for a camera until you got to a point where you felt comfortable enough to spend that £450. So what I'm here to do today is to give you a couple of pointers and guide you in the right direction to utilizing your phone camera as much as possible. So here's a couple tips on the photography side of things that you can do to get the best out of your built-in camera app. I'm not going to give you a million new camera apps that you can use manual settings and things like that, because there's no point. So there's two things you can do in your native camera app that are going to give you a better image. So this goes across the whole of the mobile phone brands. You can do this on pretty much every single phone. So the first one for me is to turn on your grid. So what a grid is, it looks like a tic-tac-toe X noughts and crosses symbol. Make sure that that's turned on. So what that does is it gives you a nice grid on your phone, and then that allows you to be able to position things in the frame more effectively. But you don't need to remember all these technical names and things like that. Just remember to turn the grid on and make sure that you are doing these extra little bits that make these photos even better. Because if you didn't know this, composition is actually the most important thing when it comes to photography. I can take exactly the same photo on a camera as I can an iPhone. They're both cameras, they don't do anything different. Me and you could take photos of the exact same subject with the exact same settings, but the difference would be is our framing and our positioning of that subject in the photo. Now, obviously, if you are watching this video, then you are interested in getting into photography, so this next one is a little bit technical, but it's fairly standard in this industry. So the next thing is that you should turn on this mode called RAW. Now, if you're going to come into photography, you're going to hear this word a lot. That means that any photo you take, it's going to collect a load more information, and that basically means that when you come to edit the picture isn't going to be degraded or mushy or anything like that, depending on how far you push it, of course. So when it comes to editing your image, you're going to want to know some apps that you can use that are going to be good for processing images. Now, the industry standard, the bare minimum to go into editing is something called Adobe Lightroom. It's free if you want to edit JPEGs, and then it starts to cost if you want to edit raw images. I would suggest that you take JPEGs for the time being, edit the JPEGs, but just don't go crazy with the edit. And then once you feel more comfortable with the app, obviously you'll have to start paying and shooting in RAW, and then again that'll be an advancement in your photography journey because your images will start being higher quality, the edits will start looking much cleaner. I'm trying to base this whole thing around not spending any money whatsoever. So Adobe Lightroom is available for all mobile devices. You can import, export, edit all within one app, and then that's photography. That's done. That is you. I don't need to tell you any more than that until you need to know more. And then once you are ready to start learning more, that's when you would start to look for these more technical videos that will start to tell you about aspect ratios and megapixels and all that different stuff. Quite possibly the biggest thing nowadays is video. Practically Instagram has been replaced from photos to videos now. Everything is Reels, Shorts, TikToks, and everything's just short form videos. A lot of these big creators have a full team of people that will shoot the video on high-end cameras and edit for them and things like that. Don't let big setups like this put you off of making your own videos. Remember that the gear that we use are just tools. They aren't, characters or a main piece of the story. They are just tools for telling the story. So what you want to do is you want to go into your phone's camera settings and make sure that you are natively shooting 4K. So every video that you're going to shoot is going to be 4K. Now, obviously, it's going to take up more storage, but your videos are going to be a lot clearer and just so much nicer to watch. The standard is now 4K. Any TV you buy is pretty much going to be 4K. Another thing to take into consideration is shooting for the format you want to upload in. I want to shoot horizontal. However, if I was going to shoot something specifically for shorts, reels, and TikTok and all that, I would tilt the camera vertically so that I'm taking up the full screen and then I'm not having to chop it and rearrange it afterwards. Now, the most important thing that you can do when it comes to photography and video is lighting. You need to make sure that you're getting lighting correct, but we're not trying to spend any money. So lighting is quite possibly the biggest thing to get right, especially in video and photography. Making sure there's enough light for your camera to see. Obviously, our eyes, human eyes, can see ridiculously well in the dark, so whereas a camera, when it starts to get dark, and especially with how small the sensors are on phones, it can get very mushy and start to look a little bit shit. So one of the most important things for when you are filming on a phone is to make sure you have plenty of light. And again, make sure you have these grids on for video as well. When it comes to editing your videos for social media, in terms of free apps, I would personally recommend CapCut, iMovie that's built into the iPhone, and Adobe Rush. CapCut, I personally think, is the best one. It gives you so many options in terms of video. You can stay on trend. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of speed ramp stuff, especially with the iPhone transitions and whipping him around and things like that. You can do all of that in CapCut. Hopefully these tips have made things just that little bit easier for you. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff you already love to do. I'll see you in the next one. Silly. I'm too far away to do the hand thing, so guess we'll just sit here till the camera dies. Also, sorry, how...